So Michael Chandler has at this point had 3 fights in the UFC. So, and the real question is, at the end of the day, has Michael Chandler lived up to the hype? And there is a lot of hype around this guy. Apparently, he has, and I'm saying this without any proof. This is all just gossip. He has one of the best contracts in the UFC. The guy's making a lot of money. And was it worth it? At the end of the day, did he live up to the hype? And there's really 2 ways this could have gone. Justin Gaethje was also from another organization. He was from the World Series of Fighting. And when he joined the UFC, he shook things up in a pretty awesome way. He's a title contender. He's one of the top 5 guys in the division. He can easily see him getting the gold one day. But then there's the Ben Askren route. And Ben Askren, of course, was from ONE FC. I think he was also from Bellator at one point. But let's be honest here, Ben Askren, as much as I love the guy, I mean, he's one of the best shit talkers in the sport. His press conferences are always pretty fucking amazing. But he's kind of lost it in recent years in the fighting department. His UFC run was legendarily shit. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. First of all, the guy was hyped up to the nth degree by Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub and MMA insiders, and he was projected to be this awesome wrestler who, when he got a hold of you, he would be able to do whatever he wanted to. And he did do that a lot in ONE FC, but when he actually got to the UFC in his first fight, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. He got his ass kicked for the majority of the fight, and then won by a very narrow and controversial guillotine choke, that was up for debate. A lot of people thought that Robbie Lawler could have gotten out of the choke, but instead of having a rematch and just settling things for certain, the guy bitched out of it. His next fight after that, I mean, what more can I say? Jorge Masvidal got the fastest and one of the most awesome KOs I've ever seen. He just sprinted at Ben Askren and kneed his head into the alternate dimension. And then the third fight after that was just a straight up grappling match between Ben Askren and Damian Maia. And in this fight, he just did not look good. His striking looked pretty much amateur, like anybody could strike better than Ben Askren. The guy did, no joke, a tornado destroyer. He just spun his arms around like a little kid trying to do superhero moves, and he lost in the grappling department to Damian Maia. So it was a pretty bad run, and I'm saying this as somebody that likes Ben Askren. So has Michael Chandler been more like Ben Askren or Justin Gaethje? Now, they've had similar... Ben Askren and Michael Chandler, they both had 3 fights at this point. They both won their first fight, and they both lost the other 2. But in my opinion, Michael Chandler is no Ben Askren. And I'm going to say this for one thing, is that in all the fights that Michael Chandler has been in, they've all been pretty fucking awesome. He got that one-shot KO, pretty much one of the best debuts you could have ever had possible against Dan Hooker, and it really showcased that, yeah, this guy can fuck with the top people in the division. The next fight after that against Charles Oliveira was a really good showcasing of how well-rounded Michael Chandler was. In the fight went to the ground pretty quickly in the first round, and Michael Chandler was in a pretty compromised position. He had Charles Oliveira, he had Charlie Olives, good old Charlie Olives, stuck on his back attempting a rear naked choke on him. And as we all know, Charlie Olives has the most submission wins in UFC history. He's the most dangerous jiu-jitsu guy in the game. And Michael Chandler got out of that. He pulled out of a body triangle, rear naked choke, and then turned the fight around. He almost knocked Charlie Olives out in the first round. He really did a number on him. But unfortunately, the MMA gods sometimes don't give you their blessing. And immediately after that, in the second round, Michael Chandler made a bad decision and walked into a bad hook. It's the punches that you don't see coming that end up getting him. Then his third fight was against Justin Gaethje. And I just want to say this right now. Justin Gaethje, in my opinion, right after Islam Makhachev, Justin Gaethje is the most scary guy in the lightweight division. He's the number 2 boogeyman in the lightweight division because Justin Gaethje straight up retires people. When he fought James Vick, I think James Vick was on a winning streak at that point. He knocked out James Vick, and James Vick pretty much never went on to win another fight after that. We all seen what Justin Gaethje did to Tony Ferguson, where he made Tony Ferguson look as compromised as anybody could possibly be. Tony Ferguson, at the end of that fight, every round in that fight, Tony Ferguson basically got into a car accident. That's what it looked like. And then let's not forget that Donald Cerrone also went on his losing streak after he fought Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is a guy who will put you through retirement. And his fight with Justin Gaethje was incredibly competitive. In the first round, they were both kicking each other's calves out. And Michael Chandler did a number on him. He landed a lot of punches that would knock out a lesser man on Justin Gaethje. But the problem is that Justin Gaethje has pretty much the most meathead physiology out there. The guy's head is basically just full of cement. You can't knock him out. I think Dustin Poirier was the only one that managed to knock him out. And the old Homer Simpson strategy seemed to be working in Justin Gaethje's favor, where Michael Chandler just exhausted all his gas tank. And as we know, Michael Chandler is a fast twitch muscle kind of guy. This is somebody that has a lot of power and explosive energy, but not so much in the cardio department. In Bellator, in Michael Chandler's fight against Benson Henderson, he also had a really amazing round one and then was really diminished as the fight went on, and then Benson Henderson started turning around. I think I could be getting the names wrong, but again, in the Michael Chandler fight, Justin Gaethje does as he does, and he takes your legs away from them. And then after that, Justin Gaethje knocks Michael Chandler on the floor with a vicious uppercut. But Michael Chandler, he still got up. I mean, for whatever reason, if you decide that you don't want to be knocked out, you're not getting knocked out. It really brings into question how Charlie Olives managed to get him out of there so quickly. But, he got up and he fought his ass off the rest of the 2 rounds. And overall, it was a competitive fight. So if you want to ask me that, just because a guy, he loses, he's losing against the best people in the game right now. He's lost against the current champion and Justin fucking Gaethje. I mean, these are the best guys out there, and he was competitive in all the fights. I don't see his stock going down. Now, I do think that he took a lot of permanent damage that may have had a negative impact on his career. But with that being said, I'm pretty optimistic about where he can go on from here. I think that if he gets paired up with another person, he'll have some pretty awesome fights. I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. I think that's a very entertaining fight because, Chandler hasn't been known as a guy just to calf kick you to death. I mean, he does do it, but I think that the striking between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler would be extremely entertaining, as they're both really powerful and explosive guys that don't have the best gas tanks out there. So again, I think that Michael Chandler has had an incredibly competitive run in the UFC with the top guys in the division. And that's my thoughts on Michael Chandler. So yeah, he's lived up to the hype. When you deliver fight of the night on a regular basis and you give us some of the best fights out there, yes, you've lived up to the hype. Unfortunately, he hasn't been on the win column as much as he should have. But, that's my opinion.